Hello. You like that face? Let me show you something that I like even more than that face. Have you guys ever had seaweed salad? It's the freakiest looking thing, isn't it? It sure is delicious. I always do my little happy dance. So, I also have one. But the reason I'm looking up right now is because I have the movie Sully playing right now, which I'm really excited about. And I'm going to have to pause it and rewind a little bit because I can't miss any of it. But I had to stop for a second because I wanted to talk about Sully. So, if you guys don't know or have never watched this movie, this is based on a true story about Captain Chesley Sullerberger. I think that's his name. Pretty sure. They just call him Sully. But he landed his aircraft, he's a pilot, and he had to do an emergency landing in the Hudson River. And I don't remember what year this took place in, but it wasn't too long ago. It's in the 2000s. Not that long ago. I remember this happening, but I was not interested in aviation whatsoever at the time, so it didn't stick. I cared, but not that much. Now I really care, and now it's really interesting. So they were talking about this ditching today in class, and it made me want to go watch the movie. If you don't know, this gentleman, Captain Chesley Sullenberger, had to make an emergency landing into the Hudson River on his own terms. He did not get permission from ATC or anybody to land in the Hudson. In fact, they were deterring him from doing so. But he knew that there was no other option to have any type of large survivability unless he did this. It was a good call because nobody died that day. Everybody on that aircraft survived. Just a few things I wanted to hit on. I haven't watched the full movie yet. I'm not an expert on this situation. So if you know more than I do, please feel free to inform me. I'm no expert. I'm learning really as I go. But one thing I do know is that, like I said, they had to evacuate on the water immediately. It was unplanned. They had about 3 minutes from the time the birds hit the engines. Both engines went out. No way of flying the aircraft. They had 3 minutes from the time the birds hit the engine, maybe like 4 minutes, over 3 minutes, to the point where they hit water, and they eventually had to ditch the plane into the Hudson River. So within that time span, there's not enough time to prepare the cabin, grab enough emergency equipment, prepare for the ditching. You don't really get to know what's going on or how you're going to handle it. It's unplanned. But the flight attendants are still trained for unplanned ditchings. Anyways, so it was so last minute and he was so busy trying to land this plane properly and safely into the Hudson that he was unable to communicate with the flight attendants and even let them know where they would be landing. The flight attendants didn't know that they would be landing in water, let alone the Hudson River, until they hit water and saw water at their feet. So one thing I wanted to mention, hold on, one moment. One thing I wanted to mention, let's say, hypothetically, you have to evacuate an airplane in the water, and the captain lands the plane on the water in the Hudson River. Could happen, right? It has before. Never open a door on your own terms. Do not, so say the flight attendants only open the front doors, right? And you are in an exit seat row, or you are near the aft of the airplane, which is the back. Don't just go up into the door and open it yourself. So a gentleman did that on this flight, which, so the plane landed like this. When Sully had to land the aircraft, he had to land it with the aft of the airplane hitting the water first. so that he wouldn't tumble around and crash. I don't know, I'm not a pilot. But, so plane landed like this, and as it was in the water, it was kind of going down like that. A gentleman opened the door in the back of the airplane because that's probably where he was standing and wanted out immediately. This caused water to flow into the airplane, making it sink sooner. So as a result of that, I can't get the words out, but as a result of doing that, the plane is going to sink quicker, making a lot less time to get out of the aircraft before it sinks and possibly people die with it. So, fortunately, that didn't happen, but it was a huge, stupid, and selfish move. But people do it. I forgot the word for it. I think it's called like unwarranted evacuation. There was no reason to do that. It was unwarranted. So a gentleman did do that on this aircraft, but luckily for everybody else, nothing bad came from it. Another thing, say that you are ditching in water, you're landing in water, and you have to evacuate. People have died from making this mistake, so listen up. If you have a life vest and you have not exited the aircraft yet, do not inflate your life vest until you are off that aircraft or jumping out of it right then. If you inflate your aircraft and there is water up to your tummy and that aircraft is sinking real fast and it's up to here now, and before you get out it's up to here and you got your life vest on, you might not get out of that airplane, because as the aircraft is sinking, obviously the water levels are going up. It's going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to bring yourself down to get out of the airplane. It is bringing you up with the water level, and then you are passing the door and you can't get out now. It has happened to plenty and plenty of people, because people don't listen in the safety demos and don't realize, honestly, even because it seems like common sense, but you're not thinking. You're back. Inflate now. I'm ready to inflate. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to jump off this plane, and I'm all inflated, ready to go. People don't realize that it is hugely detrimental, and you most likely won't be getting out of the plane if it's sinking quickly and you're in the back of it. Don't do this. Please, for the love of God, if you ever have this happen, which you most likely will not, and I pray that none of you will, nor myself, do not inflate your life vest until you are getting out of the plane, till you're out of the plane. Don't do it. This is a very unique situation here. This man even went to trial and had to prove that this was the proper and only decision for him. They didn't believe him. They were telling him not to land in the Hudson. And he still did, because he knew that was the only way he could save lives that day. And he saved every single one of them. Another interesting thing that happened here, and is supposed to happen in every single evacuation if it's possible. So when evacuating an aircraft, the first officer will leave first, followed by all the passengers, and the first officer will direct them where to go, along with some ABAs, able-bodied assistants, which were chosen by the flight attendants. They will also get out and help with the passengers and anything else that the flight attendants need help with. And then the captain is always the last to be off the airplane prior to the flight attendants, or after the flight attendants. So Sully was able to do a sweep of the plane for human life, making sure nobody was left on board after it was ditched and everybody had left. He went this way and this way and this way and this way. He went by twice, did a sweep of the plane 2 times to make sure there was nobody else on board, which is protocol. It can't always happen. But he made that happen, and he truly cared about his job and hit those lives, and he was a wonderful, fantastic pilot. I'm happy to hear he continued flying afterwards, and he is retired now. But I have so much admiration and love for this story and for him as a pilot. And I suggest everybody go ahead and watch this movie. I'm going to go ahead and rewind a little bit. I keep looking up at it because, I don't know, I'm just tempted. It's still on and playing, but I don't know, it's just interesting. Just want to give you guys a couple little inside tips and tricks, and tell you guys not to inflate your life vest unless you're getting off the plane / off the plane already. And when I say getting off the plane, I mean jumping. Like, you're at the point where you're jumping onto the slide raft, escape slide, Don't inflate your life vest while you're in the aircraft. I'm just saying. All right, guys. See ya.